So last week we talked about prayer. And if that's all you do, you're probably living in a cloistered convent and not watching this video. But for most of us, unashamed living involves a lot of other people. It involves our friends, it involves our family, it involves community. Sharing openly with friends about the experience of same-sex desire can be more or less difficult for different people. And that's because it's really intimate information. It's really vulnerable information, and it can be kind of scary to share, especially for the first time, right? Because there's so many different perspectives flying around about anything that falls outside of heteronormativity, so it's kind of hard to predict how other people are going to react. If they saw this, they wouldn't look at me the same. Raise your hand if you have said this at some point in your human existence. Full house? Everybody? Yeah, that's what I thought. So this week we're talking about two specific things when it comes to vulnerability. Vulnerability comes from the Latin word for wound. When we're sharing something intimately, we're sharing something very delicate and very sacred. When we share vulnerably, we open ourselves up to being wounded. It means we risk not being received. We risk disappointment. Someone might not understand what we're saying. They might judge us, ridicule us, ignore us, or somebody might try to receive you well, but end up saying something really awkward or kind of offensive. Exposing our intimate fears, dreams, and longings takes a lot of courage. That's why it's super important to be rooted in what we talked about last week, which was our relationship with God and being unashamed before Him first and foremost. You might have heard the cliche, we're only as sick as our secrets. I think the Christian version of that is like putting it out into the light. Meaning that if there's something that we're anxious about or we're wrestling with or we're questioning, like keeping it in the dark and not talking about it doesn't necessarily help. So sharing is important for you. But here's the thing. Your friends need your vulnerability too. Here's a bomb quote from the priest and author Henry Nouwen. And I'm going to read it because I don't want to mess it up because it's that awesome. So often we are inclined to keep our lives hidden. Shame and guilt prevent us from letting others know what we are living. We think, if my family and friends knew the dark cravings of my heart, my strange mental wanderings, they would push me away and exclude me from their company. But the opposite is true. When we dare to lift our cup and let our friends know what is in it, they will be encouraged to lift their cups and share with us their own anxiously hidden secrets. The greatest healing often takes place when we no longer feel isolated by our shame and guilt and discover that others often feel what we feel and think what we think and have the fears, apprehensions, and preoccupations that we have. We need each other's vulnerability. None of us have it all together. And if we repress or hide the tough stuff, we're never going to grow into the whole persons that God has called and created us to be. So wherever you're at and sharing with your immediate community, maybe someone needs to receive your vulnerability as much as you need to share it.